Good morning everyone. Welcome. 2019's Learning Impact Leadership Institute. Thankfully it's not raining. We've experienced some different types of weather, but it's all good here and we have an unbelievably good program for you. Those of you who know Rob know that I'm not Rob. My name is Mark Leuba. I'm Vice President of Product Management here at IMS Global. Rob, unfortunately, has come down with a bug, and he wasn't feeling well. He's feeling better now, but certainly not back to form. So I'll be filling in for Rob and doing my darndest, so everybody say a prayer for me. I'm actually very anxious to see what these slides say, because I think they're going to be really, really good. So we want to start off, as we do with all Learning Impact sessions, thanking the people that actually make this possible. And to a great degree, it's you in this room. I'd like to ask, and this applies to everyone, if we could have the folks stand that are Diamond sponsors. So if you're in one of the companies that's sponsoring the program at the Diamond level, would you please stand? We're going to hold the applause. Hang on just a second, hold the applause. Stay standing, please. If you're at the Platinum sponsorship level or at the Gold sponsorship level, could you please stand? If you're a Silver sponsor or a Bronze sponsor, could you please stand and stay standing? Awesome. If you're one of the industry partners that we're so fortunate to be able to work with, could you please stand? If you participate in an IMS leadership position, a board, a product steering committee, or similar, would you please stand? If you've traveled here from IMS, from Europe, or Japan, or Korea, would you please stand? You have an annual report in your program, and I don't know if you've had the opportunity to look at it, but it is quite an impressive document and reflects a remarkable amount of progress that's been made by this group. So I'd welcome you to take a look at it, either now or a little bit later. Some very, very remarkable progress has been made in terms of collaboration, in terms of growth of the organization. Year over year, we continue unprecedented growth because, of course, interoperability in education technology really matters and, in fact, can lead to important learning impact. So we're very, very proud to be at the lead of that train and welcome you all, if you're not currently involved, to please do get involved. IMS, I think if you've been here a while, you recognize that members of IMS Global are doers. They don't sit on the sidelines. They contribute to making the education technology and teaching and learning better through technology. And so that mission is as strong today as it has been from the very inception. I'm going to start today by going over a handful of projects that we actually began more or less last year. So this will be kind of a progress report for a handful of really, really important projects. Now, LTI Advantage was actually started in approximately November 2017, kicked off at an EdTech meeting. It was intended on addressing a handful of issues that were present in the LTI standard, and it was designed by a group of expert platform and tool companies that have created a really substantial and highly valuable new standard. LTI Advantage is comprised of 5 modules that make up the suite of tools. And as you can see on the screen there, we have a number of early champions that were either in the process of developing the spec and working out the technical details, or championing the new spec and making sure that the market understood that these were important and that suppliers should implement the specs as soon as they're available. And they are available now. So the specs are in public form and freely available for people to implement. And we want to encourage the institutional leaders that are here to do everything within their power to get the word out among their supplying providers to implement LTI Advantage, because there's very significant benefits to be had. The digital credentials, great progress has been made since we first announced the availability of Open Badges version 2. We've actually certified 18 new platforms or recertified platforms in the last 12 months, which is an unbelievable growth rate. The digital credentials are getting tremendous amount of interest. Yesterday at the workshop, there was a packed house because the promise of digital credentials, whether it's Open Badges or the Comprehensive Learner Record, is real and will help us realize the benefit of teaching and learning well into the workforce. So we're totally pumped about that. A very related initiative we've started is called the Talent Continuum. With our roots coming from education, we realize that in a lifelong learning model, we don't know enough about employment-related learning to influence the specs like we should. So we need to learn more about how employers look at teaching and learning so that this lifelong learning continuum can actually be realized through IMS standards. And so we've organized a group of employers and employer advocates, I'll say, that work along with employers to help them develop competency frameworks, to help them improve their processes aligned with the goals of digital credentials. So we're really happy to have that. We had a great workshop through the day yesterday, and a lot is going to come out of this group in terms of demonstration projects and related. Centers of Excellence is a program that we've started that is showing some really promising results. University of Central Florida has taken the lead in LTI-related Center of Excellence, with Volusia in OneRoster, leading in OneRoster. And through their efforts, we expect them to be able to raise up other institutional members by showing them what they've done, sharing their good practices, and beginning to leverage the network effect, which is so powerful in the membership organization. And so we're very grateful for these two leaders in the Center of Excellence program. We're looking forward to reporting back next year on terrific progress. One EdTech was rolled out this time last year. If you're not familiar with One EdTech, it's the next level of testing and certification for right now OneRoster transactions. The idea is that once a product becomes certified, you would expect that once it's implemented that you'd have immediate plug-and-play interoperability. Well, it just hasn't worked out that way because there's so many variables in the field. There's configuration variables and any number of different reasons why that compatibility won't be as solid as you would expect. So One EdTech actually provides the next level of testing where field software that's already configured for the school will be able to be validated against different products, and a scorecard of a kind is produced that shows how this institution's data feeds interact with that product's needs and configuration. So it's a very specific, detailed report that highlights where the alignment is and highlights, importantly, points of misalignment. And from that, you're actually able to match your needs as an institution to what's available in the product world. So it's a very significant advancement in terms of interoperability, and we expect that this idea will take hold in other standards as well. This is a first, but we believe it's going to lead to a lot of benefit in other standards. And the folks that are involved in the program, we currently are at beta. We have a beta release available. It's being tested. There's a pilot that's going to be started in the fall, the 4 schools that were shown. Everybody is excited about the potential because what we've seen thus far has been very, very promising. CASE Network. The CASE Network is a free repository of published official identifiers for standards that states and other organizations are able to publish. So once they've published their standards, they become available to anyone who wants to refer to those standards in a digital form. It becomes, of course, a canonical source for reference to state standards. Extremely important because historically the process has been fraught with inefficiency and errors tied to basically the processing of PDFs and judgments that tend to be wrong in many cases. So this provides an absolute linkage back to the original standard that's issued by the state, and it provides all sorts of controls around that. So the case registry is an extremely important strategic tool. We in the state, 50 states have seeded the case registry with some example structures that are available, including the Common Core, and they're going to be there for you to refer to, for others to expand upon, to grow, to reference, et cetera. So we're really super happy about the progress, and we appreciate the work of our leading members there, ACT, Illuminate Education, School City, and McGraw-Hill. As I said, it's live, it's available for you to experiment with and to think about how could something like this be applied in your organization, either as a product supplier or as an institution. A lot of interest and a lot of excitement about the case registry. Again, it's free, no charge whatsoever. Ours is basically an open source repository that we're making it available for anyone to use, but there are other commercial providers as well that are publishing their own repositories, and they will all be totally compatible and all linkable through the case IDs. So it's going to evolve this time next year into a powerful web of interrelated, equivalent, and aligned competencies and standards. So incredible power. But wait, there's more. Progress is being made all over IMS Global, and the security framework is a particularly important one. We took the strategic decision to stop trying to publish our own security standards and instead adopt security standards that are in widespread use in the industry. And that has trickled into important changes in the LTI standard now with LTI Advantage, but also other standards as well. We are going to be starting a standing committee on security in the second half. I think it was July, Colin, that we agreed to do that. So we're going to be recruiting experts across the various types of platform companies that could add their expertise and help us stay on top of this important subject of security. So by providing industry contacts that will give the IMS architects enough direction to stay ahead of important changes or potential vulnerabilities that may exist in any of these security specs. So that we think that's a really important step forward. I wanted to talk a little bit about the other items as well. Caliper Analytics, we are moving towards a release of a 1.2 of Caliper, probably before November is what we're thinking. But in the meantime, we've been releasing profiles as we go. Due to some changes that the team made last year, new profiles can be released as soon as they're available in anticipation of being incorporated in the next standard, which is an incredibly valuable way to create agility in the market. So even though there are regular scheduled releases of Caliper, for example, you don't have to wait for that release in order to adopt one of the new profiles that might be really important to you, like the tool launch profile or the new survey profile. So really great progress there. OneRoster is, the team is working on final details for the 1.2 version of OneRoster. We're looking to have some certifications completed this summer. We're very hopeful. We would like for you to consider certifying in OneRoster because that will push it out the door. You may know that we don't publish a standard unless it's been certified by at least two products, a producer and a consumer. And therefore, we've demonstrated interoperability and worked out any bugs that might exist. So that standard and that process is being followed here, and we're anxiously awaiting the completion of the certification. So please step forward and join the party. Integrated analytics and EDU API. That's a mouthful. That's all about the ability to collect data and feed it into an analytics repository in ways that are more agile. Especially in the higher ed environment, data is flowing all through the systems from one to another, or needs to. And as we migrate more to the cloud, the fragile implementations of various integrations begins to break down, and we need to have a much more of a agile web services approach that would allow for people to subscribe to data feeds, not only for their data warehouses for reference data, but for any number of applications, such as feeding an external system or a learning management system even. So this team is developing some prototype work right now. They started with a data model for the most important entities, and they're progressing through the creation of some pilot REST APIs. The product directory has made incredible progress in the last year. There was a time when our product directory was really a point of weakness in terms of being able to go on and see who's got what certifications and how can I shop for products, because I'm committed to interoperable environment. I want to make sure that I can find the products that are certified. This new version is heads and shoulders better than the original version. So please take a few minutes in the next few days to check it out. It's right, you can get to it right off of the main page. But some of the other features include situations where we're able to provide access to comments that members may have to leave and share with other members based on implementations that they've done. So imagine an actual implementation of a product pair, and you want to be able to learn from the experience of the parties that have gone before you. That information will be available to you as a member. Likewise, there's a compatibility list where you can look at this product and say, well, what's it compatible with based on the certification profile. So that's also available. And then finally, there's access to the app vetting. What app vetting is a security evaluation based on a 20-dimension rubric that's been developed in collaboration with institutions to identify or ask questions about best practices and potential weaknesses in agreements and security agreements that are published by a particular product company. So what our team does, led by Lisa and Kevin, is they work with the product companies and they interview them and they learn about how the product has implemented their security policies, and they use that to create the report, number one, but also to inform the product companies of what the market expectations are for what's best practice when it comes to the handling of student data, for example. And we've had all sorts of positive feedback coming from the product companies because they really appreciate having that input and being able to update their products and their policies to be more aligned with what the market expects. So this is just another example of IMS organizing the institutional team and the institutional members around a really critical and important area. Here's an example of the rubric. An incredible 500 products have been reviewed. All accessible from the product directory, the information. But wait, not done yet. Lots of other activity happening in work groups, as you can see. All of these are very, very important products and projects that are helping move us forward as a team. And if you'd like to have any more detailed information about these, please let us know. I'm not sure exactly what this slide means. I felt like a goat a little bit earlier, but I'm feeling much better now. I do recognize that stomach, I'm sorry to say. But in the last 13 years, really under Rob's leadership, IMS members have continually expanded the scope, the role, and the membership. And it's been very, very successful. And you know, it's all in service, of course, of impact to the learners. And I think I'm personally very proud of the fact that this organization has stayed so well rooted in that important goal. So it's awesome. But it didn't happen on its own. It didn't happen, you know, automatically, and it wasn't fated to occur. It really happened because of leadership. And I would propose that the leadership of Rob Abel has been instrumental. Obviously, the membership and the leaders, some of whom are here today, have made a huge, huge difference. But the vision that Rob has laid out there towards a completely interoperable plug-and-play environment has been has come true, basically, and it continues to come true year after year. More and more is happening to achieve the vision that was laid out in that 2007 paper. The 32 submissions were made in the, by the way, this report is available online. The 2018 Learning Impact Report is last year's winners of our Learning Impact competition. But this year's winners at this event are being evaluated and interviewed, and there's a contest going on for who will be the Learning Impact winners for 2019. There were 32 contributing products and programs. Today at 12 noon is a cutoff for your vote, so please do vote. It's really important that your voice is heard and contributes to the ultimate award, which will be tomorrow at lunchtime. There's a number of different, very specific criteria, all oriented towards our mutual goal of improving teaching and learning. So thank you. So I think this really describes how IMS works. The process of creating standards is sometimes painstaking, frustrating, and very, very slow. But the ultimate results that are born through the hard work, the teamwork, and the collaboration of the members and others in this room ultimately results in terrific payback. And I think our success and the impact that our standards have had are a testament to that. So thank you very much.